morning.
Well, this is a Q102 Cares for Kids Radiothon. One of the exciting things we get to do is meet some of the people that are taking care of your kids. If, God forbid, they should ever need to come to Children's National, there are some remarkable people here to take care of their needs. And when we think about Children's National, I know a lot of the times we think about, well, the emergency department, which is one of the busiest pediatric emergency departments in the world, right? But there are a lot of other services that your children's hospital provides for kids. I'm speaking today, right now, with Brynna Scherloum. Am I getting that right?
Scherloum, yes.
Okay, I'm giving it my best.
Thank you.
That's okay. So Brynna, it's a pleasure to have you with us. And by the way, you can call right now to support this great hospital at 667-2102. The operators are standing by right now at 667-2102. So this is one of the things that our Miracle Maker dollars makes happen. You and your job. Tell us, Brynna, what is your title? What do you do?
So I am one of the certified child life specialists at Children's National. I work specifically in the emergency department. And my role is really to support and educate patients through their medical experience. I provide education for them about what's happening, what choices they have, how they can be involved in their own medical care, develop a coping plan so that they feel empowered and are able to get through whatever medical thing we're doing, and basically figure out how we can make this be a more fun and positive experience for the patients and siblings here at Children's National.
I'm blown away. Okay, so that very last bit always gets me, because unbelievably, we talk to the kids who are the patients. They love coming back to the hospital. And you think this is where their darkest day was, right? If they came to, especially to the ER, and yet they love to come back because you do somehow find a way to make it fun for kids. But let's go to the first part. I am blown away that anybody has this job or could do this job. It takes a very special person to enter a room where, again, darkest day, craziest moment, parents have got to be, this is the moment where, holy smoke, my child, my everything, my world is somehow damaged, broken, sick, and I'm going to hand them over to you to heal. And then you come in and tell us what you do. Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, so when kids come through the emergency department, it's not planned. It's, usually some illness or injury that's just all of a sudden happened. And my role is to kind of focus on what's happening right now with the patient. What are we doing medically? Make sure that the child understands what we're doing, wherever their developmental level is, answer questions they have, and help process this experience with them so that they understand what's happening. Because children have a right to know what we're doing to them.
And so you're talking to the child, not exactly the parent. I thought you were talking to parents as well. Holy smoke, you're the one that talks to the kids about, oh, yeah. Wow. How do you learn to do that?
Well, I have a bachelor's in family studies and a master's in child life. And really just understanding about childhood development. It's a little bit of psychology, a little sociology, then really understanding how hospitalization, illness, and injury affects all of those normal developmental things, and figuring out how we can mitigate the medical experience onto their positive outcomes.
Okay. English now. Are you able to calm them down? I mean, like if they're in a panic mode, is this kind of what is the bulk of your job? What do you end up doing?
Most of what I do is help kids understand what's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So they know exactly what it is that we're doing, because doctors talk, big words and acronyms, and so help them understand what exactly it is that we're doing.
And as you're getting through to them,
why we're doing it too.
Okay. As you're getting through to them, how do they respond to you? I guess this is, and I'm sure it changes depending on the age of the child, right? But how well do they respond to you?
Really well. So it's a lot of reassurance that, so we provide, like say we're going to do an IV. We talk about why we're doing it. that it's
Yeah.
important to help get medicine. I provide some of the real materials that we're going to use so the kids are able to touch and feel and understand what these things do. And we practice. We practice so that they can become the doctor. They can have control over the experience. We develop a plan so that they can cope, whether it's watching what we're doing or squeezing mom's hands, taking deep breaths. So coming up with a plan so that they feel empowered and in control of the situation, so that they are part of the medical care. We're not just doing things to them, but we're working with them.
Brynna, I want to hug you. That is the most wonderful
Thank
thing. Really, you think about how special that is. What you're doing is helping them to cope with what's going on in their moment.
Yeah, and a lot of
wow.
the fears are really built by the unknowns. So that's why I provide that information, so that they know exactly what's happening and how we're going to work together to help them feel better.
I wish we had people like you in the adult ER.
I know, yeah.
That's really that.
Say that.
So is it a stressful job that you have? I'm just curious. I mean, is that for you?
It can be sometimes, but at the end of the day, you know, if I was able to get that kid to relax and to have fun and make this a positive experience, regardless of the medical outcomes or issues, just that they were able to relax and have fun and see this place as not a scary, terrifying, painful experience, but a place where they can get better and get help and have fun.
I want to point out real quick that this is where your Miracle Maker dollars go, okay? This is why we ask you to become Chris and Rosie Miracle Makers, why we ask you to donate at 667-2102. That's 540-667-2102. This is the reason why. This is what you do. This is the difference, the impact that your dollars can make for a child at their worst possible moment. So I implore of you again, if you've got a child, God forbid they ever end up at Children's National, but this is the kind of care they can get thanks to your generosity at 667-2102. I am blown away, Brynna, by what you do. And the fact that this is a position that you all have at Children's National. And I guess this isn't what I was expecting, but I am blown away. What else do you do? So the first thing is you meet with, you say you make a plan for, what is the plan? What is that? Can you walk me through that a little bit?
So working with the medical team, I kind of figure out what our medical plan is for them, whether it's if they're getting x-rays or images or a plan for going to the operating room. Just kind of figure out like what the doctors want to do next, what that next piece is, and then helping to work with the child to understand what that piece is, with, you know, pictures, with practice materials, with understanding of the sensory experiences, and then coming up with a plan so they feel confident going through into that next step.
Everyone feels better if they know what's going to happen, right?
Absolutely.
Always. And what is the one thing that we always say? We want to know, I don't mind waiting for the car. Are you going to finish the brakes first, or what are you going to do next? It really helps us. And even as little children, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I sort of think of my role kind of like, if you're familiar with the game Jenga.
Yeah.
So Jenga is that tower of all the little blocks. So when I enter a room, the child is that Jenga tower. And they have taken out pieces. They have taken out, am I going to get a needle? Where's my parents going? Am I have to stay overnight? So they have taken out those pieces of fears and anxieties in their core structure. So my role is to go back in, understand where their pieces are missing, and help put those pieces back in with education, with knowledge, with tools, with resources, so that then they have that solid core again to go through to the next step of their experience.
Wow. I can only imagine how much better a child's experience at the hospital is with someone like you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It seems so obvious to me. I've always been, since the very first time I visited Children's National, way back when, I was blown away, just simply blown away by all the lengths that they go to make children feel comfortable while they are being treated. And I think maybe your job encapsulates that in the best possible way of all the jobs and of all the people I've talked to who work there. That's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, but you seem like someone who is very, very apt at taking care of these kids. And I often say, you know, I've interviewed people from all different walks of life in my job, and I've talked to different people at different people who work at a hospice, for instance. I think they're very special people, but I've always felt like people who work in an ER are the most specific cloth to be cut from. I don't think you have to be made for that, right? And so did you, when you were going through school ever, did you see yourself in the ER? Is this where you saw yourself as you were moving along?
I think I did. Yeah. I started off, when I started working here at Children's, I was working on a different unit and then kind of always wanting to transition to the ER. So
Wow.
I think it's always been my passion.
What would you want someone watching right now to know about your job that we haven't spoken about yet, or your role at Children's National?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I know, right.
I think just to know that child life is a resource that is available for your child, for patients, for siblings. That we are here to support the understanding and coping, processing, and positive experience for the child, and then by proxy for the whole family, really. So that there are people who are looking out for a child, not just medically, but for their understanding and development, and their long-term kind of future and experience with this medical whatever. So.
Can you touch on siblings, what you do for siblings real quick?
So it's a little different now because of COVID. We aren't able to have sibling visitors, especially in the emergency department. We can't really have siblings coming back. But helping siblings understand what we're doing for the patient, how the doctors are taking care of them, what we're doing sort of in with diagnoses, and like what involvement the sibling can have for their brother or sister, how they can still send messages, how they can FaceTime, how they can still be a support, and how the parents also can be engaged with the sibling, even though if the parents are here, can still support that connectivity with the sibling at home. So if that's for a diagnosis, for a treatment plan, for a death, kind of working with the siblings to understand what's happening here and how they're still part of this involved process of supporting the patient.
Wow. You're now on my prayer list. Wow, you're amazing. And I love that this is your children's hospital. This is our local children's hospital, Children's National Medical Center. And this is why we support them and why we ask for your dollars to help support them to become a Chris and Rosie Miracle Maker. The number is 667-2102. You're supporting incredible things like this at your children's hospital for your children and the kids in your life. Listen, Brynna, I could talk with you all day, but I know you're busy. You got to get back in the ER, right? But thank you so much for sparing some time with us to talk with us and giving us a peek at just another amazing facet of Children's National and how we all try to come together to take care of these kids. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.